Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the season finale of Season 7 of Tomorrow's Talk Today. I'm your host, Peyton Schaefer, and today I'm joined with panelists Gavin Harrison, Reese Vandal, and Chris Bryant. On today's episode, we will take some time to deep dive into Disney, but more specifically, Disney adults. We will be touching on the topics of what a Disney adult is, the negative connotations surrounding them, and then talk about the media's overall perception of Disney adults. As a way to prepare for this magical conversation, our guests have watched and analyzed a wide variety of media that are both opinions and facts. By people on the internet, to begin our discussion, let's take a quick look at a clip from a video titled, A Deep Dive into Disney Adults.
I think the thing that I would want people to be able to take away about Disney adults is just the idea that appreciating the art that's come out of Disney, whether it be the theme parks or the animated movies or the other properties like Marvel or Star Wars, is just that it's a passion that people have just like any other. I don't think it's wildly different from people going to experience a closed-off, all-inclusive resort. And so I think there's just a lot of parallels. I mean, even the idea of going to a sports game and getting the jersey and getting excited about what you're about to see, and maybe even having season passes, it feels very in line with someone who wears the ears or collects pins or does something like that and wants to go to the theme parks because they live near them, or wants to go because it's a place that means a lot to them in a similar way that people get excited about other things that they care about.
Well, as you heard from that clip, the definition of a Disney adult is pretty specific, but also has a lot that comes with it. Reese, let's hear your opinion to kick off this discussion.
I think a Disney adult can range on a spectrum. I think that it can be someone who just watches a couple movies or goes to the park or doesn't even go to the park, but indulges in a lot of their content. And I think that it can range to people that go several times a year and buy all their products and have stocks and everything. But I think it's a big spectrum for Disney adults.
Sure. Chris, what about you? I know that you definitely have a little bit of background with this.
Yeah, just a little bit. I just think I agree with Reese. There's definitely a spectrum. There was a video we had watched, and it's like an iceberg. So that was kind of nice, like to see the graphic like that. To where there are people that just like enjoy Disney, and then there's people that like take their kids to the parks or things like that. So it really is, I mean, just like with anything, there is just a spectrum of Disney adults. And there are people on both ends of it for sure. Like I hate Disney, or I absolutely love Disney and it's my life. So, but that's going to be with anything, not just Disney.
Sure. Gavin, what about you?
For me, I agree completely with it being a full spectrum. I think it also goes into severity almost. But I think what makes Disney adults different from anybody else is that it's only focusing on Disney. But especially with Disney expanding so much lately, and they're buying Marvel and Star Wars, it kind of opens up even more of a wider range of people who can be considered Disney adults. I mean, I grew up watching Disney films, and I've been to the parks a few times myself, but I was obsessed with Star Wars, and I've seen all of the Marvel films, and now that they have them, am I more of a Disney adult than I thought? And so who's to say?
I think that brings up a good point, because it seems that all three of you enjoy Disney. So where would you guys put yourself on that spectrum? Are you a Disney adult?
You want to start?
I can start, yeah. I think that I would have been a Disney adult either way, if I would have worked for Disney and been a cast member or not. I love the Disney movies. I always have. Like any of the Disney movies, I watched from the time I was literally 2 years old until now even. And so when I did start working for Disney and I became a cast member, I was there. And I was like, I got free tickets to the park. Like, it's just so hard to not become one. I mean, half of my wardrobe is Disney at this point because I just went all the time. That's just what we did. We were able to go for free, so I was gonna go. I'm not sure if I would have all of the feelings that I do now if I wouldn't have gone and worked for them for 6 months, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely. Reese, what about you?
I think for me, In my family, my mom would be more of the Disney adult. She's kind of obsessed whenever we celebrate anything like a graduation or a big accomplishment. She's like, "You want to go to Disney?" And we've gone a couple times, and every single time, she always takes the lotion that they give you, like in the hotels, and she takes them all home. And when she runs out of them at home, she buys them online on eBay, because she wants to smell like the most magical place on earth. So I would say that she's more of the Disney adult, but I'm not gonna lie, I do love watching their movies and going to the parks. It's really fun, but she's definitely more up there than I am.
It definitely sounds like it. What about you, Gavin?
I think it's become a lot more inadvertently. I've always, I mean, growing up, I've watched them, but I never went out of my way. Really, it was kind of just more so of that's what was on, or I would just kind of find an interest in being like, I want to watch this just at the time, but it never corresponded with that has to be Disney. And so, yeah, I guess more inadvertently, for sure. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Well, those are all great points on Disney adults. Thank you all for bringing up those great points again and those perspectives on Disney adults. We have to take a quick break, but we will be right back, so stay tuned.
Do you need B-roll for that next comm class project? If so, we've got that B-roll. Are you not Ryan Fletcher and you haven't attended every event? We've got that B-roll. Are you not Cole Pello and haven't taken photos of every event? We've got that B-roll. Do you need shots of students eating pizza or getting their Starbucks? What about some building signs? We've got that B-roll. Do you need shots of students pressing buttons? What about doing the other things that look techie? We've got that B-roll. Do you need shots of fall on campus or students making random mugs? We've got that B-roll. Do you need a shot of Taylor Reevely IV being inaugurated as the president of Longwood? No! That's not B-roll. That's too specific. Do you need random B-roll shots with the tripod left in the background? What you don't like about the tripod in the background? I just left it there and it was great. Next time you have a comm class project, remember, we've got that B-roll for the low, low price of $19.99. You can have access to all our library of B-roll. Call 434-395-2384 today before they sell out.
Rugby is power. From the scrum to lineouts to tackling, it promotes determination and rewards hard work.
Rugby is acceptance of any and every body type.
Rugby is teamwork. It is building a family and supporting them no matter what.
When we step onto the pitch, nothing else matters except for the game that we love.
Rugby is power. Power for women, power for the team, power for Longwood.
Welcome back. Next, we're going to be focusing on the negative connotations that revolve around Disney adults and the way they act in and around Disney. So let's go to Gavin to get his thoughts on the negative connotations talked about in a video that he watched that asked the question of, is Disney a religion?
And so with that, it's kind of hard to, I guess, distinguish if Disney is a religion or not. There is a lot of I guess, symbolism that's used in a system of signs, such as the hidden Mickey, and so it's so recognizable upon everyone. There's a study that shows that 97% of people recognize Disney and like Mickey Mouse, which is more than Santa Claus, which I think is crazy comparatively. But for being able to classify it as a religion, I think it's kind of hard to say because it's a balance between fandom and also just the enjoyment of a topic. It can even be compared to like people and families that do sports. Everybody gets something that is sports related. Either if you love the Patriots, everybody in the family has to wear Patriots clothes on Sunday Night Football. But when it comes to Disney, everybody has to get ears when they go to the park. It's kind of a weird balance or between the two. And so it's kind of hard to say, is it a religion or not?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Gavin. I actually believe we have a clip to show from that video. Let's take a look.
Everything is geared to the adult Disney people now, too. And the adult Disney people are all pro-LGBT.
We measure religion
well, because they love Fantasyland.
power in people's lives, then Disney is as much a religion as anything. It is at the very least a site of meaning and human fellowship, even if you hate it. She argues that people embrace Disney for various personal reasons. Maybe Disney World was the only place where your parents ever seemed happy. Maybe you watched Frozen on your first date with your spouse. Or maybe you found solace dumping your favorite uncle's ashes on Splash Mountain. Please don't try the last one, it's very much illegal. But this argument caused many to wonder. Was Eichler Levine defending Disney adults or offering an unflattering diagnosis of their spiritual condition? And does Disney fandom really have that much in common with religious worship?
So there's a lot to take from that, and I think one of the things that to discuss would be the negative connotations that kind of surround Disney adults and how they kind of get a lot of hate online. And I know that we all watched a video too where it was kind of talking about how is that hate really justified if they're not doing anything harmful. But then to touch on the harmful part, Chris, I'd like to get your opinion on something because there was a case where a woman was kind of going hysterical, needing to be taken out in a wheelchair, security and police had to be called, and you were a witness to that. So I see that's kind of a very, of the spectrum again, that's more of the very negative side, and that is being harmful, but, you know, in that case, is the hate justified for acting like that as a Disney adult? But what about the people who are like yourselves, who are just, you know, online wearing your ears, enjoying the park?
Yeah, so I definitely was there for that. I worked in the, like, around the bar that they were at and coming out of. And it's always, I mean, it happens, like, it's going to happen everywhere you go. People are going to get a little bit too excited or, like, things like that. But it was very interesting to see that in person. I had never really, like, noticed before, like, just going as a guest. Obviously, I'm going to be in the parks more because that's where I worked. So it was really interesting to see that part, and I do think that that is more of the negative connotation that, like, things like that happen, and those are the only things that go out online. But I have friends and, like, people I know that are going and making content on, like, TikTok and Instagram, and it's just, like, they're just enjoying the parks, and they're like, oh yeah, like, stopped by Magic Kingdom today, this is what I was wearing. And so it's just part of the spectrum that the bad part there, like, there are people, and people figure out what's going on. And I think the cast members truly get, like, the, like, back end of everything in that way. Just because, like, we were the ones that are, like, either in that video or right behind that video trying to get everything to stop. So, I mean, it's just really interesting to see both sides. Like, I saw a guest side and a cast member side. So.
Sure, absolutely. Gavin, piggybacking off of that, what is the most negative thing that you've seen about Disney adults?
That's kind of hard. So far from researching this topic and looking more into it, there's only like 3 things that I really can find that I don't necessarily agree with. The first thing is that I feel like certain Disney adults get almost this, like, detachment from reality, which inadvertently is a good thing because life can be hard and it's stressful, but it almost becomes unrealistic, which may have some negative connotations too. The other one is that sometimes families or adults push it onto their children, even if their children doesn't like it, and so it's kind of a force upon the family to like and enjoy Disney, which may not be what the kids want to do. And the last one is just kind of a over-obsession in the fact of that it can impact others in the park. And so if other people are just trying to enjoy Disney, or like some of us who are just like, I enjoy Disney, but want to experience the park in the best way possible, there's people that prioritize themselves. And I think that's where it can become an issue.
Sure, absolutely. Reese, Gavin mentioned how sometimes parents and families kind of push it on to everyone else. Did you ever feel that with your mom, kind of, since she loved Disney so much? Did that ever kind of rub off on you?
I love my mom. A lot of things rub off from her to me, but when I first went, my grandparents took me, and we went and we stayed in Animal Kingdom on the Animal Lodge, like where there were animals on our balcony. It was really cool, really expensive, but very cool. So the first time I went, it wasn't like her choice. It was my grandparents, and she just fell in love with it, and she saw how much we loved it as well. So it was kind of like a mutual thing, but she definitely loves it more. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel too, again, I'm not a huge Disney adult. I haven't seen a lot of the movies, but I definitely feel like if a Disney adult isn't doing any harm, then why is there so much negative, hate and connotations around it? Because it seems like almost like it's sports where two teams are kind of coming at each other, and then it's non-Disney adults versus Disney adults. Yeah. And the hate is just not really necessary. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you. And I think we can all agree that this specific topic of discussion can be seen from multiple different perspectives. But you all at home, don't click away just yet. We still have time to talk about more aspects of Disney adults. After the break, we will come back and discuss the money around all this magic.
The motto of the department for years has been, we make the world through words.
All the professors are very supportive. I know that I can go with them with any questions about anything.
They're amazing, and they're genius, and you would be amazed at the things that they've done, and the places they've been, and the things that they know.
You gain really neat skills that can take you in a whole range of directions, and it really allows you to have a wide array of possibilities when you leave Longwood. Teachers are very creative in how they teach, and we try to teach creative approaches to problem solving. So in our writing classes, often you will do things like build Legos and then have to describe how you did it so that you learn how to write instructions that other people can read. We talk about great ideas, and so classes are just really fun to sit around and talk about the meaning of life and talk about what's super important in the world today.
There is a level of being able to sit down and just listen that is required to be able to do that work well. And with that, listening means being sensitive to people's backgrounds. We make the world through words, through those sensitivities, and coming together as an English community.
You learn how to put your best effort into something to get the best back from it. I started out wanting to write books, and now I'm working with the athletics department, working with ESPN.
I had dropped out for financial reasons, and while I was sitting at home just working, trying to make some money, I got an email from an English professor, Dr. Hetty. It was a deeply personal moment, but it really did feel like the English department cared about me and about the students.
Thanks for not leaving us just yet. As a way to wrap up our discussion today, let's take a look at a short clip titled Disney Adults Are Bad News.
So it's becoming this thing where it's an escapism, and then the adults go and they buy a $40 smoothie or like a sweatshirt that's $95. And it's all like a price gouging, like
consumerism based thing where it's like they have like Disney has the choke on these people, and Disney used to be a place for families.
And I want to say
they go on vacation and they spend their money.
Disney was built off the backs of Christian families with disposable income. You know what I mean? I have 3 kids, and we can probably fit in 2 hotel rooms, and we'll go for a long weekend, and it's $1,800, and that was like in the 90s, you know. And now it's like, okay, the Star Wars experience, that's an extra $500, and then it's just become like this price gouge cash cow thing. And now they're getting more into politics as well.
Everything is geared to the adult.
Well, that was definitely something. How do you guys feel about what we all just watched? Chris, why don't we start with you and your thoughts?
Yeah, that video really, it almost like reminds me of just people making fun of people just to do it, because half of the things they said aren't even really factual, which is another point of like Disney adults, like most of the time people know their facts. They, try to, like when I go to the park, I try to preserve the magic as much as I can. And it's like there are just people that don't do that. So like I get that people are cringed out, I guess you could say, about Disney adults, but at the same time, like, you see somebody wearing a Philadelphia Eagles hat or like any other sport, anything on their body, and you're like, oh yeah, they're a sports fan, cool.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, well, I'm not into sports, but I have this Dumbo shirt. So I mean, it's just like, I don't really get the whole point of making fun of people, but that's also just not me. So.
Yeah, and I know too in that video as well, it was discussing, about the price of things as well. Gavin, do you think that Disney caters more to those with a more disposable income who can afford these things and afford even the stuff outside, buying the Disney regalia and things like that versus, a more middle, lower class family? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Disney is built upon consumerism. There's products for everything and anything you could ever think of for Disney, whether it's movies, shows, whatever, really. And so Disney has gone up in price, and it's going to definitely go up more in price as time goes on. But I think when it comes to families that have more disposable income, it definitely is more catered to them. Disney isn't cheap. Smoothies aren't $40, but it's definitely a solid 15 to 18. My family has an ongoing joke where if we go on vacation or if we're fortunate enough to just go out somewhere and it's a little bit more pricey, my dad's like, don't worry, it's Disney money. We're fortunate enough to be able to do this right now, so enjoy. And so it's a hard balance to be able to say if it's justified or not.
Do you think, Reese, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Do you think that Disney being so much about family and bringing that magic to children and it being so expensive, do you think that's kind of counteracting and defeating the purpose of it?
I think that it's mainly focused on families, but I don't think that it has to be just families who can enjoy it. I think that anyone can be passionate about anything that they love, and like you said, it's kind of similar to how people obsess about sports teams or their favorite show, and they'll buy t-shirts and stuff, decorations to put around. I think yes, it is more geared towards families, and it is very expensive, and it's starting to get more expensive because of the political stuff that has been going on. And I think for some of it is for good reason, because they do have a lot of rides and they do a lot of stuff in these parks. But I think that it could be a little cheaper probably. But yeah, I think it's mostly geared towards families with more disposable income. That's for sure, yeah.
I'd like to get your guys' thoughts too, coming back to this money situation. There's things like the fast passes and as well as season passes, but I know that they kind of are stopping or had to halt the season passes and things like that. Chris, I'd like to get your thoughts on that after working in the parks.
Yeah, they do have like Genie Plus is their fast pass, and then their Lightning Lane is what they call it. They just call it different things because it's Disney. But annual pass holders, they do have blockout dates, just like cast members do. There are certain days that the people that buy a certain pass, a certain level of pass, can't go to Magic Kingdom on December 25th or October 31st or something like that. And I mean, those tickets are, the pass holders, they spend a lot of money on that. I will say, if you do spend a lot of money on it, you do get discounts most of the time in the parks. So there are perks to that. I mean, just like with anything else. I will say I would not have been able, there's no way that I could have gone to Disney over and over and over every day. I got off work, I went to Disney. But that's just because I could, because I was working for them and it was free. So I do think it is a lot of money. I would also say it's not, you don't have to go to the parks to become a Disney adult. You can watch their movies online if you have a Disney Plus subscription, or you can go to the movies if there's a new Marvel movie coming out, things like that when they're in the theaters, or you can just scroll on TikTok and find content there that might make you happy and satisfy your Disney for the day or whatever. But
sure, and bouncing off of that TikTok idea, now in the world of influencers and posting on social media, do we think that these people who are posting, these Disney adults posting about being at Disney and being a Disney adult, do we think that's bringing more attention and more attraction for more adults to become a Disney adult and participate in this? I think yes. I also think that these adults who are posting about this are doing a little bit of free advertising for Disney. But I think it also shows that, like, I know that some people are probably embarrassed to be so in love with Disney at such an age. They're like, why, I should outgrow this. This is like a child thing. And seeing more people actually go there, like, there's no age limit. There really isn't, because there are still rides up from the movies that I watched when I was a kid or that were made before I was born. Like, there's no age limit. I really don't think there's an age limit, and I think that them pushing out videos of them on TikTok in the parks or enjoying the movies, I think that that's the same as enjoying anything else and being passionate about the content that you watch. I completely agree. Well, I'd like to thank you all for joining me this morning. This has been quite the conversation, but that is sadly all the time we have left for this episode. I'd like to thank all of the panelists for sharing their thoughts and opinions, along with thanking everyone behind the scenes that helped make this happen. Be sure to subscribe to Longwood COMM Studies on YouTube to get notifications for the next time a stream is live. I'm your host, Peyton, and thanks for watching the season finale of Tomorrow's Talk Today.